Here we go. This is how it looks at the moment. Obviously, City are top. They are 10 points clear of Manchester United, who are in second. Then Leicester are 5 points behind with 62 points. And then Chelsea are 4 points behind them. So it was an important win for Leicester last night against Crystal Palace, despite the fact they went behind, didn't they? Zaha with a goal after about 12 minutes. And then fifth, you've got West Ham. They are on 55 points. We did this run-in earlier on, actually, Ali McCoist, and West Ham have a slightly more favourable looking run-in. Just behind West Ham in sixth place are Liverpool with 54 points. And if you think they're still in contention, how can you rule out Spurs, who are just a point behind them in seventh? So it is really, it's very tight, really, isn't it?
Well, if you put it like that, how can you rule out Everton, who have got a game in hand and would go above Liverpool?
Yeah, I was going to say that, but then I thought I've been talking for too long.
No.
Ali, I asked you this question earlier on, and you said you think the top four will stay as it is, right?
I did, yes. I did, and I'll stand by that. I just think, and I've got to be honest with you, I did say Liverpool, I think, last week, but I reserved the right to change my mind. And I just think that, well, they've dropped, what have they dropped? They've dropped 4 points in the last 5 minutes of the two games, haven't they? Llorente's in goal at Elland Road, and what was it, obviously, Willock's goal against Liverpool at Anfield. So you'd have to say there's nothing about Liverpool at this moment in time that's going to convince you they're going to get top four. And I just think Chelsea have got more about them, and that result was massive for Leicester.
Okay, what is your answer to that, Darren Ben? Who do you think the top four will be?
I mean, listen, I know it's boring to say, but I'll kind of agree with Ali. But I'm looking at the fixtures, and Leicester's last three are solid. But Man United, Chelsea and Spurs, that's hard. Yeah. West Ham's, you'd have to say, looks favourable in terms of them, but I still think it will finish as it does. But even looking at someone like who did I just look at there and I thought, that's not bad. Liverpool's is okay. I know they've got Man United next, but then Southampton, West Brom, Burnley and Palace.
So you're both saying that Chelsea are going to stay fourth, right? So Chelsea's remaining fixtures, Fulham at home. Do you think that's a win?
Yep.
Manchester City.
See, that's
at the
where
Etihad?
I am. But sorry to interrupt you before you go on. I'm not sure Liverpool will beat Manchester United, but I think Chelsea will beat Fulham. So I think that gap's going to be bigger, obviously, but at least a couple of points.
So Chelsea, they beat Fulham at home. This is what you guys think. Manchester City at the Etihad, is that a win?
Draw.
That's a draw. Okay, fine. Arsenal at home.
Loss.
Steady on you two.
Leicester at home.
Win.
Okay, and Aston Villa away.
Win.
Fine. Okay, so I was going to add all those up, but I got bored of it, so I haven't. But essentially, you think that Chelsea are going to finish fourth, and it's not going to be shaken up. What sort of a season will it be for West Ham if they manage to finish fifth? Because I think that's great.
Fantastic. Brilliant. You know, it's one of these situations, unfortunately, for West Ham in many ways. They've got themselves in this position, and some people, wrongly in my opinion, you know, if they don't make the top four, will say it's a disappointment. But you've got to look at the season overall, you know what I mean? And listen, where West Ham are right now, I just think it's remarkable. It's one of the great stories. The season's thrown up so many great stories, Leeds United and all that kind of stuff. But West Ham is a brilliant story. Lingard, the whole bit.
Do you know what it is as well, Ali, though? Is that because they've been around the top four for so long, and you're right, fifth or sixth, I think would be an unbelievable achievement for West Ham to finish, considering the season that we've had. But when you've been in the top four for so long, and then say at the last minute, like the money side of the season, you just fall out of it a little bit.
Leicester last year.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. Do you know what I mean? But listen, it's still a fantastic season. But you can't help but think, what could have been.
Do you think that Leicester have learnt their lesson from last season?
I thought they were a little bit unlucky last year. I know they were disappointment, and I heard Adrian say they bottled it last year. I thought that was a bit harsh. You know, not let him to be over the top. I thought that was a bit harsh. They did have one or two mitigating factors, and injuries certainly played a part in that. But interesting to hear Brendan speak last night. They can use the disappointment of last year, and I think that's why they'll make it this year.
I think they will as well, and they've had some big injuries this season, by the way, and they're still up there. Maddison missed a period, defenders are out, the two fullbacks, Castagna and Pereira. And
Vardy had an operation as well.
Vardy's been out, but I think the way that he's kind of adapted the squad, and then he's gone with his newfound two up front, Iheanacho and Vardy, I think he's come across something at the right time. And listen, Iheanacho is probably the most informed player, him and Lingard, in the league at the minute.
Yeah. Benny, I said to Woods earlier on this morning, it's something I'm loving. I'm absolutely loving a club again go back to two strikers, you know, because it's kind of went out of fashion, if you know what I mean, with a 4-3-3 or whatever it may be. And Iheanacho is just absolutely, as you say correctly, he's on fire, but he must be enjoying playing with Vardy because a lot of the focus with defenders would be on Vardy naturally.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think as well. I wrote this down earlier on because I thought it was brilliant. Kelechi Iheanacho. So previously it took him 76 games to score 14 goals, and then in his last 14 games he has managed to score 14 goals. Darren, what is that? Is that confidence?
It's a run in the team. Simple as that. I mean, when you're a centre forward, when you're playing week in, week out, you get your rhythm, you get your timing, and that's what he's got at the minute. You look at before that, he always knew probably Vardy goes out for a couple of games, he comes in, we go, as soon as Vardy comes back, I'm going to be out the team. So he can never quite get that consistency. But now he's their kind of main man, and yes, we know Vardy is the striker. But because of how well he's playing, he's producing the goods, he's scoring goals, Brendan Rodgers can't drop him. He knows at the minute he's undroppable. So he can go into every game with confidence now, well, I probably won't get taken off today because I'm in such great form. And now the consistency and the confidence is starting to show. So it's no surprise that he's doing so well.
If they had have lost that game last night against Crystal Palace, would you have feared for them? Because all of a sudden, the gap between Chelsea and Leicester, it would have just stayed at one point.
Yeah, a little bit. I would have feared for them. But I still think, I'm not quite sure what order they're going to finish in terms of Leicester-Chelsea. But both of them will be in the top four. But no, I just think what Leicester are doing at the minute, the squad that they've got, the form of Iheanacho, and Vardy will come good. I know I think he's only got one goal in a long, long time, but he will come good. I just think that they're certainties to finish inside the top four.
Vardy as well, what he does about at the moment when he's not scoring goals, bringing other players into play and creating more goals as well. That's something that Brendan Rodgers has been quite quick to point out to everyone. He's not just a goal machine, even though he has been in recent years, and that's what we associate him with. But he's still been playing well, Ali.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been a major part in the success that has been Leicester so far this season. And as Benny and yourself correctly pointed out, he's come back from an injury as well. But make no mistake, Iheanacho's in top form, but he will be enjoying playing with Vardy even, and also enjoying the fact, if you're a defender, wait a minute, you think you cannot take your eyes off Vardy. Now all of a sudden you've got two of them to cope with. So listen, the two, although Iheanacho correctly and understandably is getting a lot of the praise right now, and so he should. Don't underestimate Vardy. Underestimate Vardy at your peril, man.
Do you know what, Ali? I love them three in the middle of the park as well.
Brilliant.
Tillemans and Maddison. Wow.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.